What up, everybody? This is the Intermission Report, Tuesday, February 13th edition, 2018, where we're about to dive into our NBA Power Rankings, Eastern and Western Conference, with our sleeper picks out of each conference, and we're going to roll into our plays of the day where we've been red hot. Bryce, start us off with your Eastern Conference Power Rankings.
So Eastern Conference, I got my Cavs number 1, Celtics number 2, and Raptors number 3. Celtics are on the verge of slipping from 2 to 3, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Celtics at number 3. I have the Cavaliers at number 2, and I have the Raptors sitting at number 1 right now. I really like the Raptors. The Raptors' depth is nice with C.J. Miles and Powell coming off the bench, each a guard and a big man to give Ibaka and Valanciunas a little rest, a little bit of rest for Kyle Lowry. They're also a top 5 team offensively and defensively. They're the only team in the NBA to be top 5 in both of those categories. I really like that their core's been together a little longer than Cleveland as well. I have the Celtics a little lower than Cleveland because Cleveland's new roster just beat the Celtics, but they need to beat the Raptors to get over that hump today for me.
So Cavs, they clearly have LeBron James, so that puts them as my favorite in the Eastern Conference. And I like the new additions, George Hill, Larry Nance, Rodney Hood. They all bring something to the Cavs that I like. For me, the Celtics are really in a weird place. They need Gordon Hayward to come back, and that's not going to happen. And I agree. I think the Raptors might be a little bit better. I don't know. It's weird. I go into the Western Conference, and my 1-2, I'm sure, is really similar to your 1-2. I have the Warriors number 1, Rockets number 2.
I have the same thing.
But my number 3 is where we're going to have a little bit of a point of contention. I have the Minnesota Timberwolves as my number 3 team in the Western Conference.
And I have the Oklahoma City Thunder as my number 3 team in the Western Conference. So I'll get into why I like the Thunder. You can go into the Wolves. I like the Thunder. They got 3 really good scorers, experienced veterans who have been to the playoffs in Carmelo, Russell Westbrook, and Paul George. They got gritty defenders and Jeremy Grant, Steven Adams. If they can, I think Roberson's out for the season, so that's out of the question. So their best defender is out for the season. But I do like the Thunder. I think they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. No one wants to meet up with Paul George and Melo and Russell Westbrook any given 7-game series. I really like them to push some people to the limit in the playoffs.
So you said nobody wants to meet these Thunder in the playoffs, but I think these Timberwolves wouldn't mind it. I think that matchup is perfect. I think Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, those guys are going to match up real well with that Thunder big 3. And then, you look at Jeff Teague, who's going to add some additional scoring. And at the end of the day, I think the Timberwolves have a higher ceiling on defense, and I think the Thunder have a higher ceiling on offense. So, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up about which one you like better. For me, I'm going to take the Wolves just because I think Jimmy Butler will be the difference maker in that series. And I think that's the big reason why the Timberwolves have taken this next step is they've added a top 10 guy in Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and also a matchup to watch tonight. Rockets taking on the Wolves. So turn it on the TV tonight. It'll be on prime time. So check that out. 2 top 4 Western Conference teams getting at it tonight. So our sleeper picks as well. We have some sleepers in the East and Western Conference. I like the Jazz out of the Western Conference. They've won 10 in a row, joining Golden State and Houston as the only teams in the NBA with a 10-game win streak this year. So I really like them. They're getting hot. Donovan Mitchell, Ricky Rubio. Hit us with our Eastern Conference sleeper, Bryce.
Donovan Mitchell is my Rookie of the Year pick. So, I mean, that's 2 thumbs up for me. My Eastern Conference sleeper is, I don't know if it's a sleeper now at this point, but I'm trusting the process all the way through the playoffs. I'm with JoJo. I think Ben Simmons is a top 20 NBA player. I like Robert Covington. I like their pieces. I think when you got J.J. Redick and Marco Bellinelli as kick-out guys for Ben Simmons, that's adding a shitload to that offense. And their early matchups, if they play the Celtics, I think they could beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. I'm not 100% sure the stats this season, but I know the Sixers have played them very well.
Yeah, the Sixers, they're definitely a team to watch in the East. They can definitely knock out teams and give teams problems like the Wizards and the Pacers and all those middle of the road Eastern teams. I think the Sixers could really give them problems. I like them out of the East as a sleeper. We're going to roll into our plays of the day. We've been red hot on these plays of the day, guys. 28 and 13 this month, hitting 68%. We're going to keep it up. We got 2 picks tonight. Bryce, hit us with your first pick.
My first pick is on the ice, and I'm taking the Vegas Golden Knights to beat the Chicago Blackhawks by over 1.5 goals. The Blackhawks have been terrible lately. They just lost 6-0 to the Arizona Coyotes. They're traveling all the way to Vegas. Vegas has been lights out at home. I mean, take that, guys. I mean, we've been rolling with the Vegas Knights. They're the winners.
And it is a plus 145 price, guys. So go get that plus money with the Vegas Knights tonight against the Blackhawks. And then my play of the day over here, we got Butler and Georgetown on the hardwood, over 151. This total hit 180 last month when these two teams played. Really high-paced game, 89-91. I expect something similar here. The total was 145 in that game. Don't know why they didn't change it up more than 6 points. Georgetown's gone over in 5 of their last 6, Butler in 13 of their last 18. And 9 of the last 11 at home. So let's roll with the trends here. Roll with the pace of these teams that they play at. Over 151 in Butler, Georgetown. Close us out, Bryce.
All right. Be on the lookout for our plays of the day coming tomorrow. Those will be on Twitter. Follow our Instagram if you haven't already. We're throwing great pictures on there. It's been fire on our Instagram lately. So just be on the lookout for all that stuff, guys.
Yeah, and shout out. We have 1,000 followers now on Instagram, so thank everyone for following us. And our Twitter, we are up to almost 600. So we're pushing. We're growing pretty quickly by our standards, so we're rolling. We're going to keep the content coming. We'll be back Thursday with the intermission report. Keep an eye out for the Twitter for more picks and news.
And we're out of here, guys.